Hey guys, sorry there hasn't been any uploads recently. Let me just say that first. Also, I just want to clarify that I have recorded the intro and explanation of my injury a bunch of times over the last couple months. I never really liked it. It wasn't the most upbeat subject, and I struggled to make this video. Things have gotten better, so I wanted to catch up to real time and get some of this old footage out there. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I've got a long ways to go with recovery from this injury, but things have gotten better, and I'll share more about that in the next couple videos coming. Thanks for watching. On this episode of AutoXandTrack, we've got good news and we've got bad news. The good news, this Mustang is running better, driving better than it ever has since I bought it. And I can't wait to show you guys some footage of some of the work we've been able to get done on this thing over the past couple weeks. The bad news, you're looking at it. So let's start with the bad news first. Unfortunately, 3 weeks ago, I was snowboarding with my family and going down a run I've been down a million times. Unfortunately, it's a fast area of the run. I was going fast. Somebody else almost hit me. They would have hit me if I didn't take evasive maneuvers. And during that, it caused me to fall hard on my shoulder. I Supermaned, high-sided on the snowboard, if you will. Superman into the left shoulder, instantly dislocated it. Unfortunately, a shoulder dislocation will take you out for a little while and sign you up for lots of physical therapy, but unfortunately the shoulder dislocation is the minor injury that I received in all this. I suffered what they call a traumatic brachial plexus injury. That's a nerve injury. The brachial plexus is a grouping of nerves. It comes from 5 different roots out of your spine and neck, and mixes together in different ways and goes down your arm, and it controls everything from your shoulder to your fingers. And of the 4 main groups, I have suffered damage to at least 3 of them: the radial nerve, the ulnar nerve, and the auxiliary nerve. And from the day of the accident, I can't move my deltoid, my tricep. I can't lift my wrist. It's completely dead, and I can't extend my fingers. So the good news is bicep does work. I can curl my wrist in, and at least 3 of the fingers I can kind of curl in. The thumb also can't be lifted. So yeah, about half the arm roughly is paralyzed. Since then, I've been to a bunch of docs. I've had a nerve conduction study done. I've been to a BPI specialist. Just had an MRI done. I actually did fracture the arm as well, a hairline fracture that does not require surgery. If it wasn't for the nerve injury, I'd probably be starting PT in a few weeks and get back to normal in a few months, or at least get back to where I can race and do all the things I want to do. But because of the nerve injury, the healing times on that runs into the years. It depends a lot on whether surgery would even be helpful for me. I won't know more about that until about 3 months in, is the key evaluation stage that a lot of these specialists go by. So unfortunately, that means despite getting this Mustang running so well and being so pumped right before my family vacation, the whole plan was I come back from that vacation, I had an appointment with the exhaust shop, I had an appointment with to get my physical for my racing license. I had tentatively got a date worked out to get the car teched ahead of time. And all I had to do was change out the fuel cell and the belts mainly, which I was going to do all that when I got back from vacation. Of course, I haven't done that. And the car missed its first wheel-to-wheel race this year. I'm pretty bummed about that. But, despite this kind of being a really bad news thing, I'm learned a lot about this brachial plexus injury, and I'm just so grateful that it's not worse than it is. I'm not in a lot of pain. I do have hand pain from the ulnar nerve, so the part of the hand that's connected to fingers 4 and 5, the ring finger and pinky finger, all the palm behind it, everything is really uncomfortable, and it goes from like a 1 on the scale of 10 in terms of pain or discomfort, and occasionally though it will flare up to like a 4, maybe a 5 one time so far. I'm not taking any pain medication anymore, and I do have the use of being able to kind of curl my fingers a little bit and use the bicep. And really good news is, a few days ago I started being able to twitch in my forearm, the muscle that controls the wrist. So I'll show you guys that in a minute. But yeah, I'm hoping to, stay positive in all this. I can't wait till I can get back in the car and drive it, because, I'm probably not going to be as fast as I was with 2 good arms, but I'm pretty convinced I can take this thing around, or either of these cars, around an autocross lap one-handed. My right arm is the shifting arm, and it is good. My right hand is my dominant hand, so I'm lucky again that this injury is on my non-dominant side. So little things like brushing my teeth at night and things like that have not been as big a deal as they would have been. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm committed to getting back in this car. So anyways, I want to share some cool news with you guys. Document some of what's going on here, but as you can see, I can lift the arm. Now this is weak, and I'm being careful because you don't want to re-injure the shoulder. I do have the dislocation to worry about. I do have a fracture to worry about. Unfortunately, the doc said 3 months I need to keep this arm in the sling or support it as much as possible. So no racing for me for 3 months. But probably the most exciting thing for me in the last week is, before I could curl my hand in, right, I could curl my wrist up like this, but the wrist was totally floppy. I can lift that. 2 days ago, I couldn't even do this. A week ago, couldn't even move it. And a little less than a week ago, I started seeing that if I tried to move it, I could make this muscle twitch on off. Couldn't even hold the muscle contracted even a tiny bit. And so this is quite a bit of progress over the last week. So that gives me a lot of hope I'm going to get most of my wrist function back. Finger extension is just not there. I got to use this hand to open the hand a lot. Super excited. I'm starting to feel a little bit of twitchiness in the tricep back here. So I'm hoping it's going to fall along the wrist. But yeah, that's enough about my injury. Let's roll footage on getting this Mustang running better than it ever has before. And yeah, we got more videos coming. This injury's not gonna, stop the channel. Might slow me down a little bit. But oh yeah, one other exciting thing. I think we're gonna get this Mustang out for a Falcon Tires private track day. And if you guys are like me and have been watching this and have been so pumped and ready for its first kind of track day, or at least racing or whatever, I can't do it, and I'm impatient too. So I'm lining up a driver to take this thing out on its first ever track experience since I've owned it. Unfortunately, it won't be me, but that's okay. I just want to see it run. I want to see it kick butt. If I can be there watching it, filming it, making an episode about it, I think, it's still going to be a lot of fun for me. It'll still give a sense of payoff for all the hard work I've done getting this car to this point, and, reward some of the people that have helped me get it along to this point too. So, yeah. Without further ado, let's get into working on this thing back when I had 2 arms. We are working on the Mustang to try and get this car sorted. It's running really rich, so we're going to get a vacuum gauge on it. We're going to start checking over this carb, see if we can't make it run a little nicer. We did our shakedown test in the last video. It still leaks oil, and for reference. So, but there's no transmission fluid on the ground, and there's no power steering fluid on the ground. So success from that point of view. We also might have a very small diff leak, which I was under there and I saw like a little bit of wetness around some of the bolts, so I just don't think the bolts are sealed all the way, the studs that go into the housing itself, unfortunately. But yeah, we're gonna get the hood up, air cleaner off, and start playing with this carb. There is the carb. What is that? 4777-7, 2534. 2534 the numbers. But yeah, let's get a vacuum gauge on this and see what we see. Well, surprisingly, it's making 16 pounds of vacuum. 15 to 16. Dropping. Forgot, I do want to check what these are set at before we go monkeying with them. No electric fan blaring in our face would be nice. So let's see, we got half. Okay, so that one was out a half. What is the recommended starting though? It's much, I thought it was
it's about a turn and a half out.
Turn and a half out of starting.
It's about where it's a good starting point, and then
interesting.
I always just did it to, of course on this it's going to be really, really hard because it's got a really kind of fucking idle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So on a regular car, you adjust it until you kind of get the highest vacuum or either the highest idle.
Right.
Without it burning your eyes.
Right.
You know?
Well, we're getting over almost 16 consistently, 16 to 17. All I know is this is not going to fix why it runs like poop.
No.
Yeah, that is what's driving me crazy trying to drive it.
Rich.
Well, okay. But is that main jets at that point, or?
Yeah, main jets.
Well, at least somebody used the blue gaskets on this thing, and the front metering block came off without too much trouble. Let me see how good Steve's eyes are.
I think that's a 74.
78.
78? 78.
Is that big?
Yeah, it's huge.
I wonder why they would jet it so big. You could just smell. It stings the nostrils. Not gonna lie, it smells like straight gasoline out of the back of this thing. So the power valve look good because it's not wet
78,
on this
you're right.
side. 78 main jets. 408 Windsor. What do you guys think? 10 to 1? Too big? 650 carb? So what would you go down to?
I used to have all these things memorized, but that was 20 some odd years ago. But I'm just thinking that it should be right around like a 69.
All right, we're back. New jets. Stock jet size on this carb was 67, 73, and this had 78 and 80s in it. We're gonna try 68 and 74, so basically one size up from stock, just to try and get some of the drivability and get rid of how rich it's running. We'll see if that's way too drastic or at least a baseline to go from.
Other way.
sorry to say I did not take cameras on the test drive after we just changed the jets. We had 78 main jets up front, 80 in the secondaries. We went down to a 68 and a 74, which was up 1 from stock in both. Totally different car now. Totally different car. All that miss feeling and that spitting noise is gone. And the car drives like a normal car. You can just mildly accelerate and shift. You can maintain RPMs. I'm so freaking excited. Now I just need to get the alternator fixed. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
What are you doing, car? This car just can't let me have nothing. It's always something.